Hi, I'm Janet with True Corn, and thanks for joining me today for episode 1 of a 10-part series called Faith Before Form. And I promised you to be densely packed and concise, so let's jump right into it. Desire. The starting point of all achievement is desire. It's when we want something and we put it out there, and the Bible says, before you call, I will answer, right? Which means really that the universe or God has already agreed with us that we can have the desire that we want. So in essence, as we have agreement, the seed has been planted. And that's a good starting point as well to kind of pivot a little bit and think about seeds and how they grow, whatever they are, whether they're flowers or fruits or vegetables, whatever they are. When we plant it in the ground, it goes to the unseen for a while, right? We don't see anything happen for a period of time, but that root system is forming and it's going into the soil so that it can support the plant, it can support the tree when it sprouts. Same thing for as a baby. We don't see anything for a while. It takes a while before we actually see the baby growing within the mother's body, and we can see the bump, the baby bump. So we don't see anything for a while, but we know that it's happening, and we have faith that it's happening because we've seen it. How many times have we grown things? Or we grow things all the time. Food gets grown all over the place, right? Flowers in our neighborhoods, trees, we know this. And we've seen children born in our families, and maybe you've even had children. So we have the kind of faith that we know and believe that this is the creative process. But when it comes to our desires, what's the creative process for that? Now, how do we take that analogy of the seed and how do we water it, and how do we give it sunlight, and how do we stay sure, true, and trust that our miracle is on its way when we can't see it and we're not getting any signs that it's happening? And we don't know that it's happening because we haven't done it before enough times to really understand what that creative process is. The answer is faith. Faith, the Bible says, is the substance of things hoped for, meaning that it has weight, it changes the atmosphere, it has a particular vibration. And we have to learn what that is. What is the vibration of faith? It's exactly what I just said it was. It's knowing, it's trust, it's certainty, it's confidence, it's all of those things. You don't doubt that the seed is going to sprout. You just wait for it. You know that it's coming. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's coming. You know that it's coming, and you give it time, and you trust that it's coming, and then it comes. So we need to have that certainty and that assuredness, the trust in our desire that it's on its way. You know, when we actually get the feeling of desire, it's really a confirmation from the universe or God that we have agreement. We've asked, God or the universe has answered, and now that seed is planted. And our job now needs to be pivoting from wanting to having. And what does it mean, pivot to having? What does that mean? It means that we want to embody the feeling of what it would be to have this desire. If it's the new job, what does it feel like to have that new job? What do I feel like? How do I carry myself? How do I interact with others in this new position, right? So I have to envision that, and I have to assume the feeling of what it will be when it's completed. This is the watering and the sunlight of our miracle and how to bring it into our reality. That's our job. That's our role now. And as we do it, we're actually growing ourselves into that next version of who we become that then has the miracle that we're waiting for. So I know it sounds a little bit complicated, but we're going to break it down more in the episodes that come. And we're going to think of this more as not just a belief system, faith, right? But a technology of consciousness that we can trust, that is every bit as sure as gravity, as unfailing as gravity. Faith is a frequency, it's a vibration, and this is something that we can rinse and repeat. This is something that we can do and repeat over and over again. So that's our first episode. Join me for episode 2. Thanks so much. It gets a lot more interesting. That this is laying the foundation for what it is we need to do. And there'll be more along the way. Thank you. Thanks for joining me.